Alright, what's going on everybody? So I'm back to bring you guys another anime review. This time we're taking a look at Skate the Infinity, the new anime from Studio Bones. This is a completely original project, and I gotta say this is very refreshing given the fact that we don't get to see a lot of skateboarding anime. There's not a lot of that out there. And honestly, I want to, like, if I'm being 100% honest with y'all, I want to say this is my first, I want to say this is my first skateboarding anime. It's not my first sports anime, but it's my first skateboarding anime. Haven't really watched a sports anime in a while. So this is kind of, it's kind of refreshing for me personally. And just going into this, knowing that it's Studio Bones, so I don't even have to tell y'all. Like 9 times out of 10, if it's Studio Bones, the animation's gonna be fire. And with this one, it's no exception. There's some really good animation in there, and there's a moment where one of the characters, Longa, he is skating downhill in the S race, and we'll get to what S is in a second. But he's skating downhill, and they go completely third person, and they basically go third person with the camera. Like it's pretty good as far as the animation goes, as far as what they as far as like the framing of the different scenes and everything. I mean, Studio Bones, they're never really, in my opinion, I don't think they do, like, they barely do bad work. But anyway, to kind of get into what this is. So with this episode, we're introduced to our main character, our main characters, Reki and Longa. Now Longa is so let's start with Reki. So Reki is our primary protagonist. And Reki, if I had to describe him, he kind of has the whole he's kind of like your standard, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but he's kind of like the standard as far as his attitude goes, his like personality. He kind of has the standard shonen, the standard shonen boy protagonist type of personality. You know, he's kind of loud, not like Asta loud or anything like that, but he's full of energy. He's full of enthusiasm. Whereas Longa is like the opposite. He's like he's very chill, kind of quiet. And what's his first episode? So like we get introduced to these two characters. Longa is basically he's a transfer student, and essentially him and Reki and Longa, they start hanging out. And so the first thing I do need to go ahead and talk about, because let me just go ahead and talk about the races itself, because here's the thing with this show. So I've seen people describe this show as wacky races with skateboarding, and then as I was watching this, I was thinking to myself, this is kind of like Fast and the Furious with skateboarding. And I'll even go a step further and say it's like Fight Club with skateboarding, because here's the thing. So Reki participates in these races, these top secret races, right? There's these top secret races called S. And these S races, they're very dangerous. They take place at a abandoned mine, and at that abandoned mine, the secret race goes on, and you can basically, it's like anything goes. Obviously there are rules. They have their own rules set up. I mean, we kind of get a bit of that in this episode, but like you can basically attack people while the race is going on. So it's not just racing, it's also a bit of survival there. It's kind of like, as I was watching this, and there's another character introduced in this episode called Shadow, who's basically like the anti-hero, or like the villain almost of this racing community. And this is not really a spoiler, because it happens, early on, but it happens like the first few minutes or whatever, when Reki is racing Shadow in the beginning. He throws like these firecrackers or whatever at him, and so like I was kind of thinking, like, as I was watching this, I'm like, man, this is like so many things. Like, I'm thinking video games, like this is like Mario Kart, you throwing out stuff. Like, yeah, like it's exciting. It's very exciting. Like, you don't, like, in my opinion, because I'll tell y'all straight up, I'm not like super into sports or super into like skateboarding, but it's definitely got that action in there. So don't so if you're somebody who's very hesitant on watching this, I do kind of think that you can kind of give this a chance because it seems like the action is gonna be there. And honestly, as I was watching this, so I mentioned Fight Club earlier because one thing about this secret race, you're not supposed to talk about it. So it's kind of like, so that's kind of why I kind of threw the whole. That's why I kind of gave the Fight Club comparison there. But essentially, what ends up happening as far as like the plot and what ends up, bringing Longa this new transfer student and this person who's new to the town, what ends up bringing him into the fold and he gets involved with these races is that essentially Longa and Reki, they become friends. They start hanging out and everything. And Longa wants a job, and Longa wants a job. We don't know why Longa needs a job, why he wants a job, but Longa wants a job. He ends up getting a job working at the same skateboard shop that Reki works at, and his boss's name, what was it? It started with the O. I think it's Oka or something like that. Please forgive me. I'm looking at my notes right now. I think I'm not sure if I wrote it down, but essentially his manager, Reki's boss, ends up hiring Longa, and essentially they have to essentially Longa and Reki, they have to take this board that this guy wanted that was going to be competing in the race, and unfortunately Reki ended up messing up and taking the wrong board. So then Longa has to race Shadow, and then we get that race at the end. But so as far as like the plot goes and just the whole setting, the whole, I guess you can say the whole premise, I like it. I like it. Like I said, this is something different, and I'm all for it. I will say this also, because I talked about the animation. Let me go ahead and talk about the character designs and the characters themselves. So I see what they're doing with Longa and Reki. It's like the standard thing that you do when you're writing, or at least from my experience, this is kind of what you do. Um, when you have the main protagonist, if you have their personality be like with what I said with like Reki and him being like high energy, then you're obviously going to have with that main character. I mean, not main character, with like the what you call it, the deuteragonist, the secondary protagonist, which would be Longa in this case. You would have him be the opposite of what Reki is, so he's kind of more quiet, more observant. And I thought, like I said, I like so far I like the characters and I like the character designs, right? There's this dog. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a fox or something. I guess it's supposed to be a dog. I don't know. But the dog that Reki, that's like walking around with Reki and the shop manager. I like the design for the little doggy thing. I like the design for the main character. Really, I like all these designs for the characters overall. There's even so at a certain point in the episode, there is like this mysterious dude, and I'm guessing he's like the guy behind these S races. But as soon as I saw this guy, man, like I'm wondering if anybody on the staff is a fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because am I the only one that's getting like Dio kind of Dio Brando vibes from that dude that was watching the monitor? Because I kind of got Dio vibes from him, but yeah, I like that. I like that character's design. I like his design too. Um, one other thing, because one other thing I wanted to mention before I close out, because I think I've already talked about, I think I've pretty much touched on every point I wanted to touch on. But one thing I wanted to kind of point out, it's kind of, it's not really too, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not anything too big, but so essentially, we do see at one point where Longa is at home. He's looking. Well, he's not looking at this picture, but we get to see the picture of him with his father and his mother, and he's holding the skateboard. And this is like a picture of him when he's younger. And we see in the episode where he kind of takes. And this is something that I also liked about the episode. near the end in that race with that race at the end with Longa and Shadow. Um, I like that he took his snowboarding experience and applied it to skateboarding. Like it's that sort of weird thing that happens in, like, let's say a battle shonen where like characters would have like a weird maybe like they have like a bizarre a sort of a bizarre fighting style or a secret technique. It's almost like that with Longa. And I like how we're seeing, because Longa really is our eyes and ears in this episode. Like he is sort of the what's the word I'm looking for? He's like, so basically Longa is like our he's basically the audience conduit. Like we're basically like we get all this information like when Reki is talking about the S races. Like as we're learning about this world, Longa is also learning about this world because he's, well, not this world, but like the world of S, the the secret races, and of course the town and how everything's operating and everything like that. He's basically learning the same time as we're learning. So it feels natural when a character is talking about, and when a character like Reki or the shopkeeper is explaining things. So that exposition, though, those characters explaining those things, it feels natural. It's not something that just like bogs things down or just feels kind of out of place or anything like that. So but apologies, I'm kind of going all over the place. There was another reason why I mentioned that picture, and this is kind of I guess you can say speculation, but I'm wondering, is his father divorced from his mother, or his mother or maybe his father died, because it was something that his mother told him at the beginning of the episode. When they're riding in the car, she's like, she says something like, "Are you sure it's okay that we're coming back here?" And he's like, "It's fine," or whatever. So I'm wondering, did something happen to the father? Is the father in Japan, or like what's going on? So I'm thinking maybe we'll get some more of his backstory. But overall, I like this. I like the first episode. I thought it was pretty good. If you're looking for something different, because we get all sorts of different anime all the time. Like we always get battle shonen, we always get isekai and slice of life type of stuff. But we rarely get skateboarding animes. So I would definitely say, if you're into skateboarding, if you're into sports anime, definitely support this. Even if you're not into that sort of thing, definitely give it a shot, because you might end up liking it. But that's pretty much my thoughts on this first episode. I thought it was a pretty solid episode. I thought it was a pretty great episode. Let me not even say solid. It was a great episode. It was a great episode. I enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think about this first episode in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this review. Like the video, subscribe. I'm out of here. Peace.